Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Good morning, Sinkers and Nevers, and welcome to Inside the News right here on WinFM 98.9. It is 5 minutes past the hour of 11, and you're tuned into WinFM for another edition of Inside the News. It is Saturday, October 29, 2022, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Imagine that. We are at the end of a month again. Man, time is flying by a little bit too fast for me. Thanksgiving just around the corner, Christmas just around the corner, and then of course Happy New Year. Yeah. But time is going really fast. It's month end October, entering a new month, November, December, and just like that the year is over. But thank you so much for joining the program for today. Of course, you can also listen to us via the World Wide Web at www.winmediaskn.com, or you can check out our social media accounts at WinMediaSKN. That is our Facebook page and YouTube channel for this. And of course, the latest in local, regional, and international news, entertainment, and sports on our website, which is www.winmediaskn.com. Thank you so much for joining the program for today. And of course, the numbers to call are 466 0989 762 0989 or 662 0989. Those are the numbers to call for you to participate in the program for today. But thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, I look forward to a healthy discussion with you, the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis, today. A lot has happened over the past few days, over the weeks as well. But a lot has happened here in St. Kitts and Nevis. It has been a busy week. I think you guys would agree with me that it has been a very busy week, and a lot really has been going on. Of course, this week we saw the opening of the Parliament. The opening of the Parliament was on Tuesday. Well, the opening session of the Parliament, where they elected the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and the other members took their oaths or whatever. But Tuesday this week, that was the 25th, was the opening session of Parliament, and the first official session or meeting of the Parliament was on Thursday of this week, and a number of bills had their first and second readings and were passed in the House. One such bill is the COVID-19 prevention. I don't want to get it wrong, but it's the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Act. The COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill was repealed during the National Assembly elections. Of course, the name says it all, has all to do with the restrictions and all of the other measures that had been implemented during the height of the pandemic. And as we are, returning to normalcy, well, basically we do have normalcy, here in the Federation for the most part. In the Caribbean, they thought it best to, scale this back a bit and really free up the country, open up the country, and get things going. If I can share with you some of the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill that was repealed. It says during the first sitting of the National Assembly, the Parliament passed the Public Health Amendment Bill 2022, which amended the Public Health Act and repealed the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Act number 16 of 2020, the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Act number 16 of 2020 was an act to provide for public health and other interventions to prevent, control, and suppress the transmission of the virus and related matters. The argument from the new government was that the Public Health Act provided the avenue for the prevention, control, and suppression of the transmission of the virus. Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for health, Dr. Terence Drew, the mover of the bill, indicated that the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Act significantly affected and impacted the lives and livelihoods of thousands of citizens. Now, the Member of Parliament for St. Christopher 7, former Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, defended the implementation of the act at that time and said that it is the new government's priority to act for the benefit of the people, understanding that caution is still necessary. Fair points made by both parliamentarians there. But basically, that was the act to, with regards to all of the restrictions and measures that were implemented during the pandemic. They basically were relaxed as we enter a very busy tourist season where things are returning to normal and people are back out to work, people are back out to making money. I know we all thought that we were going to be in that position for a very long time. Even though 2 years, I would say, was a long time, but we are out of it and we are moving forward. It is 11 minutes past the hour of 11, and you're listening to Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. As I said, so much has been going on throughout the week, and I know we have these days everybody is into the social media and the Facebook and all of that, and so we do have a lot of people that pay attention to what is happening on social media and what folks are saying. Oftentimes you find that conversations about real social ills and problems that we have in society are held on social media, and that's where everybody lend their voice to the floor. We're going to be taking some calls very shortly. So again, the numbers are 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Now, also on the coming out of the Parliament meeting this week, the Prime Minister, Dr. Drew, used the opportunity to call on opposition members to support the Parliament's processes and business and basically the work of the Parliament. Oftentimes people would tune into Parliament. Some probably tune in for the, as we would say, the back and forth, the bacchanal. Some tune in to hear the parliamentarians go at each other. But the Parliament is not about the parliamentarians going in there and going at each other. I mean, these people are debating and presenting meaningful bills that one would hope, or in some cases, bring real meaningful change to our lives. And oftentimes we would say that opposition members, all they do is oppose. I mean, don't get me wrong, as you are an opposition member, and so you oppose with you don't just oppose for oppose's sake. Of course, you have all the information, and I believe while or in at the same time when you are opposing, that you recommend. So you say, okay, I am not in agreement with this, but this is what I'm going to bring to the floor, or this is what I am suggesting that we adopt. And of course, your suggestion is accompanied by the facts, accompanied by the information, accompanied by all the details, materials, whatever you want to call it, that would support the successful implementation of whatever your suggestion may have been. But the opposition members, their role is not just to oppose. Their role is not to fight down all of the policies that are going to come to the floor. Their role is to hold the government accountable. And so you have to have a strong opposition that is going to hold the government accountable and ask the relevant questions on behalf of the people of the country. To ask the relevant questions on behalf of the people of the country to ensure that what was promised is what is being done, and things are being done ethically, things are being done properly, things are being done honestly. This is what the opposition role is, to ensure that the government is performing. I mean, we too, as citizens and residents, we too have our part to play. We do have a role to play in this. You basically, as a concerned citizen, you ask your questions because you really want to know what is going on or what is happening in your country, whether it be something related to education, something related to healthcare, something related to community or crime and violence. The list goes on. But we have our role to play in holding our elected officials, or let me say our elected officials, accountable, both those on the government side and those on the opposition side. It's 50 minutes past the hour of 11. So we'll take this short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue inside the news right here on Win FM 98.9. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
TDC Financial Services, we're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services, we are strong. TDC Financial Services, this is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on Win FM 98.9. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. Call us to be a part of the conversation for today. Call us at 466-0989-762-0989 or 662-0989. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. Yeah, so the point that I'm making with regards to the opposition and the role that they have to play is, basically holding the government accountable and ensuring that they do what they say that they were going to do. Not just this government, but governments across the board, ensuring that, oftentimes before we come into office, we would make promises and we would say, these are some of the things that we would want to do. And I mean, we do understand that when one gets to office, you realize the situation may not be as you would like it to be, or as you thought it would have been. And so you perhaps would have to make some changes and you'd have to tweak a few things. That is totally understandable. But being in government, being in parliament, you're not there. For me, being in parliament, you're not there for yourself. You're there to represent your constituents. And so you are supposed to be using that platform, that avenue to ensure that your constituents, the people who gave you that mandate, are looked after in different ways. And so when I say looked after, I don't mean handles. We have a tendency of where it is becoming a norm where people be like, the help or the only way that somebody can look out for them, in this case, a politician or a parliamentarian, is to give them a few dollars. No. You help the person find a job. You ensure that they are enrolled, if they're interested, enrolled in, some skills training program to develop themselves. And so the parliamentarians, all of them, elected or selected or appointed, they have a role that they should take very serious. They have a role that they should take very, very serious. I believe our people deserve the best. I believe our people, being hardworking people, deserve the absolute and the utmost best that our parliamentarians can give. And so with the opening of the new parliament, of course, we expect that there will be a new style of politics. We do have new people in the political arena. Both sides, or all sides in this case, the different parties here in this case, different parties in Nevis. And so you're really looking for something fresh. You're looking for something new. Not the same old pile of confusion and back and forth. People want something to look forward to. People need hope. People need something that will keep them going. That's what people want. That is what people want. You understand? At the same time, I do believe that we have a problem where we would say that this is not happening and that is not happening, but I find at times we don't even make an effort to really find out what is happening in the country. And so we would find that we would make comments, based of what we may have heard down the road or what, somebody may have said. But we're not going to find out for ourselves. I mean, case in point, the parliament that we had on Thursday, how many people actually sat down and listened to the presentations that were made, listened to why they supported X instead of supporting Z? These are the things that we have to look out for. Because for me, you can't properly judge a situation if you're not privy to what is happening within that situation. If you don't know what's going on, if you are clueless about the issue, then you can't properly judge or figure out what that issue may be. And so I want to use this platform to encourage our people that when you hear our parliamentarians presenting, listen to them. Even if you think they're talking rubbish, listen to them. And that is what you use to determine if your elected representative or if your representative is performing. If the people who we place in the country's parliament are performing and not just there for style. And so both opposition and government, they have a very important role to play. A very, very important role to play. From time to time, they would have to work together. They're going to get criticized. They're going to get commendations. That is just how it works. But both would have to work together to ensure there is one common goal, to look after the interest of the people who call St. Kitts and Nevis home. It is 26 past the hour of 11. Let's take a quick ad break, and when we come back, we'll continue Inside the News right here on WinFM 98.9. Let's take this break, and I'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
People make the world go.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance. Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
All right, let's head to the phone lines. We'll take some calls. All right, caller, good. Okay, we seem to have lost that call. Let's take this one. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Devon. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good, thanks.
Yes, and I am also doing good, giving God thanks for another day. You know, He brought us through. October is as good as over.
Yes.
Yes.
Basically entering a new month.
Anyway, I'm here praying for rain there, you know. I don't want no flood, but we need some more rain, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to pray for rain. Because, as you hear, the water woes continue. I mean, we would thought that by now we would have been getting more rain.
Mm-hmm.
Not flooded, because when I prayed, I said, Lord Jesus, please send more rain. But, Lord, spare us the flooding. You got to be specific, eh?
That's true.
And I said, Lord, I said, now we can please don't send this disaster.
Mm.
So, now let me get to the parliament. I was grossly, very deeply disappointed. Very deeply disappointed. And I'll tell you why. Number one, they wasted a lot of time. I don't usually drop sleep, you know. I miss Marshall's presentation. And I said to myself, you know, this is the first parliament. They should have bring more consequential bills to parliament. It ever occurred to you?
No, it did not, honestly.
Let's take the first one. After they were sworn in, they already said that all the COVID things are no longer in use.
Mm-hmm. The protocols.
Now, we have been talking about integrity in public life, good governance. None of those three bills address good governance, you know. I mean, how much longer are we going to push it back? In 1996, they went in 95 and said by 1996 we will have good governance, integrity in public life. And for over 20 years, nothing was done. Then the new government came in, and they too were to have it enforced. They went half of the way and it stopped. And you're going to tell me, everybody saying, look, we want good governance. We want access to Freedom of Information Act. And you come with these here, the first thing, the first three bills.
Mm-hmm.
The first one could have waited because you already stated the position.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see where I'm coming from, right?
Right. So you believe the bills could have been, more impactful?
They could be further down on the schedule. That's what I'm saying, and I'm saying that they're not useful.
Right.
I'm saying that if it's the first time and you say you're different, and because the cry is for good governance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The cry is for good governance, and I was a bit disappointed in the discussion about the first one with the COVID thing. I mean, to give the impression that all that they was done was creating hardship for people, and you know what I mean? I said to myself, what would have been their response if they were in government? Well, a lot more people would have died based on what was being said. And we acting as if we're in some kind of a cocoon by ourselves. Big USA all across Europe had more stringent, even until today in China they're locking down people. So, you know, and we have got to begin to adjust ourselves because one come, two come. And what it does, it cancels all the sacrifices that the people on the same front line would have made. If you give the impression all they do, they lock you down and very irresponsible. I think for a doctor, a medical doctor, his discussion was very poor. Not poor in content. You see what I mean? Trying to make the work done by the COVID thing of little value. The other one again with Dr. Douglas. Somebody ought to tell our good Dr. Douglas he's no longer the Prime Minister. Made this mighty long speech over a small thing. As everybody said, it's just a small little to change two words. One long story, and then another long set of interventions. Everybody was hoping that by lunchtime they finish. We got to do better than that. We have to do better than that. And for the AG, please to put consequential, high priority bills up on the agenda. It don't make no sense. It makes no sense because no matter how you run, the longer it takes to bring those bills to the House, is the more reason, the more escape, the more avenues you are giving to all parliamentarians and all those who are concerned about the integrity in public life business to hide what they got to hide, to create all kind of a loophole. I mean, it's a shame.
So you
I
would
know
say,
God mean well, but God, you are being ill-advised.
so you would say, bring more. What's the word I'm looking for? Heavier bills.
A high impact, eh?
A high impact, right?
And good governance. We did good governance.
Freedom of
information. You still
and
can't
all
go
of that.
ask somebody nothing.
Right. All right.
You know what I mean? We ain't no better off. We ain't got none more. All the accusations they're making and who got things to say. Well, you see, and for those who are talking about they got what they find. Well, what they find is what was found also. So if you're going to spend time talking about who thief and who ain't thief, all thief, please forget the integrity. Because you're wasting time. How come Nevis have it? Why are we waiting? And the thing already set up, right? The office set up. Whatever rules and regulations, when they start, the day, the procedure, get working on that. Please do not go back in that house unless you have good governance laws to put before the house. We're not looking for theater. And I'm serious, others are not going to listen.
Yeah, I hear you. I understand.
And you don't listen either because you have the whole thing out there, right? The professional media group. And another story while at it.
The whole what, sorry?
The media.
The
journalism thing now,
the Media Association. Oh, okay, yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much more must you all lobby? You lobby to PAM, you lobby to Labour, you lobby to Unity. But nobody taking you all serious. Because when they start to talk about what they know and who do what, how can you follow up on it? How do you know they're telling the truth? When somebody tries to justify themselves, how do you know it is true? They're not doing anybody any favor. We're going to be forever gossiping, dropping hints, smearing people's character, hiding other people's sins. So please, Mr. Gat Wilkin, for your sake. Because all you see is all labor tactics. Divide and rule. And to minimize the work, I was disappointed. Dr. Joe was disappointed in you. To minimize the work done by the COVID, whatever group we call them, the CMO, Dr. Wilkerson, NEMA Group, the health. I mean, really?
All right.
All
We'll
because
call
they
up.
make life
We-
hard for people.
Yes, well, thank you for your contribution. We want to take some more calls, all right?
Good afternoon to everybody.
All right, take care. The phone lines are open. You can call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. This is Inside the News on Win FM 98.9, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. How about you?
Not bad at all. Giving thanks for life, always.
The previous caller, what does she want to do? Take over Parliament? What really does she want? This was the first Parliament setting. Quite frankly, this was the first one that I've ever spent so much time listening to. And I learned a lot. I'm not saying everything they did in there was right, but I learned a lot. It's a teaching moment. Give the people a break. And Devon, what did she just say that Nevis have a integrity in public life thing set up?
Yes.
Where is it? No, I just want to know.
Sorry, sir. Oh boy, I had to get that one out. I had to get that one out.
You know, you can't come on the radio making all these rah, 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 rah noise and talking nonsense. Come on. People are now open to listening and to learning and paying attention to what is happening. And with time, it will all go. It's not old labor thing. Stop it, Sylvian. Stop it. You can do better than this. Stop it. Give the new team, Dr. Joyner's team, a chance. Even the opposition behaved themselves the other day better than Sylvian just did on the radio. Even the opposition behaved themselves. You think if they had something to jump up and down about in there the other day, they wouldn't have? Are you there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm listening to you. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I couldn't.
Mm-hmm. But
Anyway.
what were your thoughts? You did mention that you listened to the Parliament this time around. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think good, bad? The presentations made, were they of substance? Is it that is what you were expecting?
I think. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think the presentations that were made were very good, considering that they were coming from a fairly new set of parliamentarians.
Mm-hmm.
It was worth listening to. They seem to have done their homework. The Attorney General, I think, is doing a heck of a job getting the information out to the persons, whether it be through Parliament or through social media. People are learning and understanding what some of these bills are all about for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't know. There's a lot of stuff that people did not know, and it wasn't to our advantage to know by those who wanted to keep things hidden.
Mm-hmm.
It is now being outlined and discussed, and people are learning. Give them an opportunity to do that. I think the Speaker of the House did a tremendous job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I
kept
was really
thinking,
impressed as well.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I was impressed as well with how she handled the House.
Oh, yeah. I kept thinking, wow, these are all brand new people. I think they're doing a pretty good job of handling themselves. And we just need to give it time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's not going to happen today. There's a lot to be worked through. I wouldn't want to be in Dr. Drew's shoes, sifting through what was left there for him to make sense out of, because I'm sure a lot of it don't make sense. And it's what we all knew from a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So give them time to figure out some stuff and then come back to us. In the meantime, don't come on the radio and castigate people like this. You ready to take over? You want to run an election? Come on. We've moved away from that, caller. We have moved away from that. We're in a new season now, in case you hadn't noticed. Devon, you have a good day.
All right, you too. You take care. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. The phone lines are open, and we're still taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. It is 11:41, and we have some more callers on the line, so let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Good morning, Devon. Good morning, Miss Howell. Tessa. Good morning, Tessa. Now, she asked you a question which you hum. Wasn't the Integrity in Public Life Act passed in the Nevis Assembly?
The act was passed, yes.
Well, she asked you a question. She asked a question, a legitimate one, and the answer is yes. Now, imagine we have been having parliament since 1983, and this is the first one she listened to. First one. How can you cannot compare one with anything. I agree they need time, but there are priorities that are set. We see, give them time. By the time we give them time and the integrity in public life would have been passed, they would have secreted away all their ill-gotten gains. I go for everybody. I said it the last time when the other government was in. I said, I noticed there is no request on the opposition or the government side because everybody is satisfied that as long as it is not passed, they don't have to declare what they have.
But isn't that only for people who are
all those who the bill cover?
Public officials?
All those who the bill cover.
And who does the bill cover? Yes, but who does it cover?
The bill specify who you know.
So I'm asking you who?
I tell you, you have top civil servants, permanent secretaries, in the political arena, all those on the executive. You remember it? Or you don't remember? Maybe you need to check it out.
No, I don't.
It's not only politicians.
Okay.
Those in government statutory bodies, it covers them, all who are on the boards. Because we know, I mean, from what you hear people say, people close to certain positions must declare because they handle, as long as you handle money towards the treasury. So I'm not asking them anything that is not required. Is Nevis not a part of the Federation? The other day, the AG said he met with the Nevis Integrity Board. And the Sankis one, because there's a Sankis one. But the difference between Sankis and Nevis is that the rules and the regulation as to when they file, and so have not been passed. That's the difference, but don't imagine that, don't give the impression that Nevis ain't have none. And I am saying again, stop look, they knew Dr. Denzel Douglas alone could train everybody in there. They're not on their own. As Hanley said, he has been training them. They're not ignorant people. A lot of them have degrees in this and degrees in that. You see, when we encourage corruption, we turn around and ban corruption. Start putting the safeguard in place now before the scrabbling and the hiding starts. What is wrong with that? And stop this thing about give them time. Give them time. You go into the bank and give the tellers time to clean out the money. The AG said people have been what the word he used for the treasury? Raiding it.
I think it was saying unkind to the treasury.
Well, so what we do is we giving them. You know, the other day I said to myself, I don't know if you know. You know, when ministers travel, they get a lot of
allowances and so, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I am aware.
The other day I said to myself, well, you know, I work in the government service for years. I know what I'm talking about. This current flow, where everybody traveling, is designed, you know, because they're not compelled to go. Everybody getting a chance to fill up the bank account. Everybody, I mean, first time in my life I ever hear all the ministers except one overseas. I mean, we're not stupid. Be it Labour, be it Unity, be it NRP, CCM. Unprecedented. And then they come back. You know, the amount of allowances they're getting. Some of them go in first class. When they go, they lie down in first class hotel, eat first class food. So when they make the claim on the treasury, they raid in the treasury. I mean, and only if you don't know, like my good friend, first time she noticing something. I mean, people watching, you know. Someone went away 3 times. 3 times. And when they go in, they walk with extra people.
All right.
I mean, Doctor, you take control of your government. Take control of your government. This excessive traveling. And don't tell nobody because a lot of it is done on Zoom. They give you the option. Every meeting you got to go. I don't mean you, Dr. Joe. The ministers, them, all of you. I want to know how much has it cost the government so far? What go for one, go for all. I always contend that this excessive traveling is start too early. Start too early and don't tell me about give them time. Nobody in there is a baby. I must commend the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
She did a good job. She did a good job. And the other members and the female members. I mean, Dr. Clark has got to watch what she say, you know. Let me start with her since they're going to get me cussing. Now, she knows better. Some of the remarks she was making, even about these devices, you yourself know. When the children were asked to go online, the government of both St. Kitts and Nevis purchased hundreds of tablets. Isn't that so?
Yes.
Eh?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to hear you. Because, you know, and the children couldn't this and the children couldn't that. I mean, we must stop exaggerating. It may not have been enough.
But
and
what was the point?
Out there.
What was the
Right.
point that she was trying to make? Because I didn't listen to the presentation.
That's the point she was making. Or we can bring in this and so that they could. A lot of parents, and I hope the government use the same method. The government position was, if your child needed the device, you would have to sign for it in case the child damage it or lose it. Someone has me signing nothing. I think that should be the same method when they bring in whatever they bring in devices, and people take responsibility for them. We so accustomed to mash up everything. And another one was talking about, what was it? He went to the school. I think it's Hanley, you know, talking about the repairs to the school. I smiled. It is true that the schools, they should be maintained every month because you have hundreds of children using 4 toilets. You see what I mean? But to suggest that these things were allowed to run down when they left government, every school, everything, so to give the impression that it's just so. And they set up, I remember under Mr.
All right. Well,
Deputy
caller,
Farmer
we're
Deputy.
going to have to take some more calls, all right?
Yeah,
right.
you know, but stop talking about getting more time. They're not babies.
All right. Well, thank you for your contribution to this program. It is 10 minutes to the 12 o'clock hour. We break for the headline news at 12. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Let's head out to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Moderator, greetings in Jesus' name, the only Savior from sinners, from the sins and from hell, and second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, with all due respect to Parliament and that sort of stuff, the way we are doing things, just like the rest of the world, is contrary to the Bible, including Parliament and all these sort of stuff. This ain't the way the Bible says government ought to be doing things. And therefore, when we go contrary to the Bible, we are ignoring and rejecting the Bible to our peril, destruction, and to our ruin. And so nothing contrary to the Bible can work out to our blessings. It would only work out to our curses, including parliament and that sort of stuff. The Bible tells us how governments are to be operated, who to be in government, the nature of government. The law that the Bible alone, really and truly, is our only true constitution and law of the land.
All right.
And anything contrary to that is sinful in God's sight, and therefore bad, and therefore destructive to us and ruinous to us and to our peril. Okay, thank you.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. It's 11:52, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. This is Inside the News on 1FM 98.9, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls. For those of you who may have just joined the program for today, we are on the topic of the opening of Parliament that took place this week on Tuesday. The Parliament officially opened, where they elected or appointed, whichever word, a new Speaker of the National Assembly, and as well as the Deputy Speaker, the both female. Lanine Blanchett is the Speaker of the House, and Latoya Jones is the Deputy Speaker of the House there. So, coming out of the Parliament, and of course, with that, we had the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Amendment Bill that was repealed. So a number of changes really happening, a number of changes really going on. It's 11:52. As I said, we'll take a break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. So we'll take a break now to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll take a few more calls, and then we'll wrap up for the headline news. Let's hit this break, and we'll be right back.
You're gonna clap.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9, just a few minutes before the 12 o'clock hour, where we break for the headline news. Let me use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for your contribution thus far. For those of you who may have just joined the program, we were on the topic of the opening session of Parliament on Tuesday, and of course the first official sitting on Thursday. Of course, a number of bills had its first and second readings and were passed in terms of there being amendments. You had the Public Health Amendment Bill, or the COVID-19 Control and Prevention Amendment Bill. You also had the St. Kitts Investment Promotion Agency Amendment Bill 2022. And you had the Civil Aviation Amendment Bill 2022. Those were the bills that were debated in Parliament on Tuesday. A caller suggested that perhaps these bills should have been more impactful in terms of the freedom of information and bills related to good governance and all of that, and ensuring that the good governance agenda is top priority. And that is it. Basically, their suggestion that the bills should have been, more relatable, that people can actually relate to. And say, okay, I at the end of this debate, I realized that this bill is not just you going to Parliament and talking for 2 or 3 hours on one particular topic or bill, but at least you know that with this bill, it is going to bring real and meaningful change. Real and meaningful change to your society, to the society. So again, thank you guys so much. We'll now take a break for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. For those of you who are just joining, the numbers to call when we come back are 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Thank you guys so much.
People make the world go round. People make the world go round. People make the world go round. People make the world go
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We're encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the following locations: in Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and the Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. In St. Kitts, every second and fourth Tuesday at the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Deep Bay. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottles, flatware, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. So think smart. Take PAT, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Yolana Weeks.
Making the headlines:
Miss Talented Teen Pageant contestants revealed.
Guyana's President Irfan Ali on oil boom in country thanks to significant discovery in 2015. Internationally, deaths climb as Storm Nalgae makes landfall in the Philippines. Meanwhile, intense clashes have taken place in the Iranian city of Zehedan as anti-government unrest grips the country. Now, the details.
The St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Miss Talented Teen Pageant returns in 2022 after a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee, 9 ambassadors from 9 high schools in St. Kitts and Nevis will be contesting this year's pageant. Miss Keon High School, Brenna Paul. Miss Washington Archibald High School, Kajoy Isaac. Miss Charles E. Mills Secondary School, Saya Mason. Miss Verchilds High School, Takaila Hart Johnson. Miss Bastia High School, Zara Humphrey. Miss Immaculate Conception Catholic School, Michaela Martin. Miss Gingerland Secondary School, Hadassah Daniel. Miss Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, Malia Erskine. And Miss Advanced Vocational Education Center, Rihanna Hodge. Mr. Javon Liebert, chair of the Talented Teen Pageant Subcommittee, says patrons should expect a bigger show with more exciting girls and more exciting segments this year. Liebert also explained how women could benefit from pageantry and encourage interested women to push forward in that regard.
I think it is important for young girls, young women, to know their self-worth and to build self-confidence and self-esteem. I think the pageant creates an opportunity for girls to be aware of who they are, to push the limits, and to also show the world what they can accomplish. In saying that, I would encourage any young girl, any young woman rather, who has interest in any pageant, be it the talented teen, the swimsuit, or Missing Kids, I would say go for it. You are responsible for pushing yourself. Only you know what you're capable of. Go for it.
The National Carnival Talented Teen Pageant will be hosted at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort Event Center, Frigate Bay, on Tuesday, December 20 at 8 p.m. Admission is EC $20. Tickets for the event are available on the website www.skncarnival.com, as well as the National Carnival Secretariat in the E.C. Daniel Building on Keon Street. No ticket sales will be at the gate. The last National Carnival Teen Pageant was held in December 2019, where Miss Shanika Joshua of the Washington Archibald High School emerged victorious.
In regional news, Guyana's President Irfan Ali on oil boom in country thanks to significant discovery in 2015. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports.
The temperate waters off the Guyana coast cover some of the world's largest reserves of crude oil. But it's not the oil President Irfan Ali is interested in. It's what he can do with it.
The story about Guyana is not oil and gas. We are a country that is rich in history. We are a country that will be, and mark my words, will be a leader in food security and agriculture. And importantly, we will be among the best ecotourism destination you can find.
And that oil revenue may help you get there faster.
That oil revenue will help us to get there faster.
Guyana's sprawling Stabroek oil field holds an estimated 11 billion barrels of crude, enough to turn one of South America's poorest countries into one of the richest. And contractor ExxonMobil has discovered 2 more deposits just this past week, making that field even bigger.
It's big on an international scale, a global scale, as far as the conventional oil and gas resources being found around the world in the last 7-8 years. But also at a national level, this is transformative for the country, for Guyana.
Critics in the opposition party warn of the so-called resource curse that struck other oil-rich nations. It's where some benefit greatly while most miss out.
Stock market has gone up in only a few years, 400%. But the minimum wage has only gone up 36% in the same time period. And so you've seen a huge escalation in terms of inequality.
Some 40% of Guyanese live in poverty, earning below $5.50 a day, according to the World Bank. The influx of oil money has raised rents along with the height of buildings in the capital of Georgetown, center of the petroleum boom. The infrastructure here in Georgetown has been growing by the day, and for good reason. Since oil was discovered here in 2015, 1/3 of all the new oil found in the world has been off the Guyana coast. Only a decade ago, Georgetown's Demerara River was a sleepy port. Today, it's a hive of activity as oil service vessels shuffle back and forth to offshore rigs. The world is trying to move away from oil. Do you feel at all like you're in a race against time here?
Yes, it's a race against time. It must be done responsibly, though, in a sustainable way. But we intend to accelerate the production.
Speeding up production might help this generation prosper while creating a base for the next. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Georgetown, Guyana.
We now bring you these international reports.
The death toll continued to soar in the Philippines after Storm Nalgae slammed into the country early on Saturday.
It triggered flash floods and landslides that killed scores of people, with the country's disaster agency saying the southern provinces suffered the brunt of the impact. Video posted online by the Public Information Office of the central Gassam municipality showed heavy rains pounding down and powerful winds tearing through the town square. Intensifying into a severe tropical storm, Nalgae was packing maximum sustained winds of 59 miles per hour and whipping up gusts of up to 99 miles an hour when it made landfall in the northeastern Catanduanes Island province. Weather officials warned Nalgae would bring heavy rains over the capital region and nearby provinces as it cut through the main Luzon Island and headed towards the South China Sea. Meanwhile, search and rescue teams continued looking for missing persons on Saturday. They've been plucking residents to safety from chest-deep waters and pulling bodies from thick mud since the storm began unleashing flooding and landslides on Friday. Government officials in the southern Maguindanao province said the rainfall had exceeded expectations. Most of the deaths from the storm have been in the province.
At least one person has been shot dead in the Iranian city of Zahedan as anti-government protests continue in much of the country. Activists say security forces fired on dozens of people as they left Friday prayers in the southern city. Robin Brandt reports.
6 weeks in and protests show no sign of abating. The opposite, in fact. Zahedan, the scene of violent confrontation again. Independent observers claim the crackdown by security forces across Iran has killed at least 160 people. And the tactics continue to be unbearably indiscriminate.
I saw footage of a teenager, a child, shot in the head who apparently has been killed. And we haven't got the exact figures for how many people have died, how many people have been injured today. But as you said, from the footage that we saw, we can say certainly that they opened fire again with live ammunition.
What started out as a protest over the death of a young woman in custody because of how she wore her hijab is now a chaotic and increasingly deadly confrontation between some of Iran's people and its religious leaders.
Any tactic that they had used in previous rounds of protests, including in 2009 and 2017, to crack down and get people to go back home, those tactics are not working this time around. There's a wave of anger in these protests that is unlike anything I personally had ever seen. I've been reporting from Iran about protests there for years and years and years. This is unique.
Iran's military has claimed that the US was conspiring with others to spark the riots. Meanwhile, the United Nations has raised a list of issues with Iran that it's deeply worried about.
Of particular concern is information that authorities have been moving injured protesters from hospitals to detention facilities, refused to release the bodies of those killed to their families, and delivered the deceased on the condition that their families do not hold a funeral or that their families do not speak to the media.
In one protest video, verified by the news agency AFP, people are seen shouting "Death to the dictator." That's aimed at Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. As the demonstrations continue in various cities, international human rights campaigners say there's now a serious risk of mass killings. Robin Brandt, BBC News.
Well, with me now is Parham Gabadi from BBC Persian. Welcome to you. You've been speaking to sources inside the country. What are they telling you?
Just on the way here, I was talking to a source close to the family of Nika Shakarami, the 16-year-old who was killed in the early days of the protest, and she has become now a household name. So they've been telling me yesterday they held an event at her gravesite, and security forces started shooting at the protesters. Now I've been hearing that 60 people have actually been arrested from that memorial, and they've been taken to unknown locations. Some of these detainees are the very close relatives of Nika Shakarami, and the family is extremely concerned about the whereabouts of them. Also yesterday I managed to confirm the death of another 19-year-old bright young man. He was a chef, he was just 19, and 2 days before Mehrshad Shahidi, 2 days before his birthday, at 9 o'clock he leaves his restaurant, and then he's getting killed by severe blows to his head with baton.
So you've been covering this since the beginning. Is your sense that more than a month on, the protests are escalating across the country, and so is the response from the regime?
Definitely, it is escalating. What we've seen, this is unprecedented. We have never seen protests this long and, this widespread across the country. And it's been going on for months now, and there's no sign of it fizzling out. What we've seen actually overnight, my colleagues at BBC Persian a few hours ago, they managed to obtain videos that security forces raided a dormitory, and they're dragging students from inside the dorm, and they're calling out for help. It's really horrifying images. And across the universities and schools in Iran, and also streets, we've seen protests still going on.
Now, we've seen worldwide protests, people coming out in solidarity with what's happening in Iran, Iranians all over the world. We've also seen the US say they want to make this an issue in the UN next week. Is that making any difference?
That's correct. So it has already started in New Zealand, and at 2 I'm going to Trafalgar Square myself to cover this. And I've been there before as well. It's usually the crowd that you see there. It's unprecedented for Iranians to be disunited from all walks of life. You see Iranians united from different ethnicities. They are there and they're chanting the same slogans that people in cities like Tehran and Shiraz are chanting. Let's keep in mind that last week in Berlin, we had a protest that over 100,000 people showed up, and that was, I think, one of the biggest protests. And that shows the solidarity of Iranian people, Iranian diaspora outside the country with the Iranians inside the country.
Palestinian citizens disillusioned with politics could help decide Israel's election next week. When the Conservative former Premier Benjamin Netanyahu hopes to make a comeback, Arab parties could join an anti-Netanyahu bloc and help defeat him, just a year after one joined an Israeli government for the first time. But Palestinian turnout would need to be high, and polls differ. In Nazareth, Sami Abu Shahadeh, lawmaker and leader of Al-Balad party, is on the campaign trail.
We are here visiting our people and families just like we do in other Arab villages and cities. All our meetings turn into festivals because of the crowd. We are feeling the love from our people and we appreciate it. The next phase is to transform this love and crowd into votes at polling stations.
But it's the rise of the United Arab List, known by its Hebrew acronym RAM, that has shifted the debate in Arab-Israeli politics. The Muslim party won 4 lawmakers last year and broke with tradition by joining a coalition government. Arabs account for 1/5 of Israelis. Some identify as Palestinian, despite their Israeli citizenship, but others prefer to be called Arab citizens, to emphasize the need for equal rights with Jewish Israelis. With prospects for a Palestinian state dim, the United Arab List has abandoned nationalist rhetoric to focus on fighting organised crime and improving planning and infrastructure in Arab areas. Opinion polls show those are their voters' top concerns. Krami Amer is a supporter.
I believe that this party still works hard and tolerates many things, even though it was accused of treason. This is the only party that cares about its people and their existence in this country, regardless of how they do it. They are being practical and realistic, and thinking of new ways to support our people and advance our society.
Opinion polls by the Statnet Research Institute show the party's gamble paid off. More than 70% of eligible Palestinian voters now support an Arab party participating in a coalition. But even with a seat at the table, many Palestinians in Israel say they've lost hope that they can effect change as an Arab minority in a Jewish state.
They've come for us before. Voting rights, our civil rights, segregation. They're still coming.
In the run-up to this year's U.S. midterm elections, polarizing issues like abortion and crime are what many campaigns are focusing their ads on to win over voters on the margin.
It's not like people made up abortion as an issue.
Andra Gillespie is an associate professor at Emory University.
This wouldn't have probably been an issue in this election cycle had there not been a case before the Supreme Court where the Supreme Court made a decision to overturn a nearly 50-year-old precedent.
Mandela Barnes, a Wisconsin U.S. Senate candidate, is seen introducing his mother in his campaign advertisement. She explains that she had to terminate her first pregnancy due to serious health concerns, and he states his support for her and women like her.
Every woman should have the right to make her own decision.
Meanwhile, almost a dozen Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives have in the past week alone rolled out or seen supporters launch ads trying to bolster their positions on crime.
Adam funded the Crime Task Force, arresting 50 cartel gang leaders.
Veteran political consultant Susan Estridge says crime ads can often be a stand-in for more fundamental questions.
But where crime will always come in, and what some of these ads reflect, is as a character question. Is this candidate tough enough?
Democratic strategists and campaign officials told Reuters that there has been an onslaught of campaign ads labeling their opponents as anti-police, messaging that has stuck even after supporters of Donald Trump assaulted police officers at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, in an attempt to overturn the Republican president's election defeat. Overall, spending on political ads this cycle is set to reach nearly $10 billion by November 8th, a record for any U.S. election according to the tracking firm Ad Impact. The midterm elections in the United States will determine whether Republicans or Democrats control each house of Congress, and the results will have a profound impact on the next 2 years of President Joe Biden's White House tenure.
You were listening to the Win FM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were:
Miss Talented Teen Pageant contestants revealed.
Guyana's President Irfan Ali on oil boom in country thanks to significant discovery in 2015. Internationally, deaths climb as Storm Nalgae makes landfall in the Philippines. Meanwhile, intense clashes have taken place in the Iranian city of Zahedan as anti-government unrest grips the country. Thank you for listening.
That was the Win FM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tilly Wall with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The St. Kitts and Nevis Solid Waste Management, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We are encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Tuesday each month at the following locations in St. Kitts: the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Dip Bay. In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, Ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. But wait, that's not all. £1 equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottle, flatware set, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
People make the world go
afternoon, Isinkis and Nevis, and welcome back to Inside the News here on Win FM 98.9. It is 12:31 here in our studios. It's Saturday, October 29, 2022. We're heading back straight to the phone lines and we'll take some more callers. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Devon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty okay.
Awesome.
Listened with mixed feelings about certainly with regard to some of the presentations this morning. I'm so glad that Mrs. Henry has had an epiphany, so to speak, and has now come over from the dark side and is now championing the cause of good governance, integrity in public life, freedom of information, and all those nice things. For she was one who was adamant that things could never change and justified the foolishness that happened for the last 7 years with the saying, well, Labour did it too. Okay? I too feel that the new government cannot be expected to do everything in this short space of 3 months. And at the same time, I feel like that they should not go too far into this term without having these things in place. Okay? But remember that improvements have to be made to close the loopholes that existed. Remember that some of the complaints we had were that the existing regulations either they did not have enough teeth, they were not operationalized, or the entities like the Integrity Commission and the Public Accounts Committee were not functioning as they should. Okay? So these things have to be addressed. One of the things I think we can look forward to is a special prosecutor so that there would be consequences for corruption on the part of public officials. So we certainly can look forward to that. Better late than never, I would say. It is good that she's an advocate of the good governance agenda that she gave the previous government a pass on. And we must remember that the Attorney General himself has set an end-of-the-year deadline to get some of these things done. So I think we're well within the range, the 6 months range, for expectations for the delivery of these things. With regards to the business session of Parliament, I agree that it was unnecessarily long and long-winded in some instances.
Yes.
I think that the parliamentarians would do well to take care, apart from making sure that their interventions aren't too long, they could probably take a cue from the Attorney General, whose interventions were short and to the point, and certainly avoid the long drawn-out speeches that we have become accustomed to.
Unnecessary.
In particular, the adjournment was far too long and drawn out. Okay, I think by that time the attention of most people had waned. I noticed the last Minister of Aviation, Mr. Brantley specifically, may not have been the last one, based on the fact that there was a kind of reshuffling of portfolios for the last 3 months. But Mr. Brantley, who when he was Minister of Aviation, was at pains in the session to say that our downgrading of by the FAA could have been a result of failing of other countries in the OECS. But he neglected to remember that breaches of security could be one of the reasons for the downgrading. And we all remember how he was the one assigned to investigate and report on one such breach, and we never heard of any of the findings. If you recall, remember, there was a security breach by one of the ministers.
Yes.
Or suggested a security breach by one of the ministers. We never heard anything about that. All right? Okay. The speaker, I think, did a pretty good job, and I think for the most part he had the cooperation of all the members. Maybe because she made it clear from the outset that she expected decorum there and would not tolerate disrespect. It's a pity that she did not make that intervention at the first session of the reopening of Parliament. Maybe if she did, that incident, the unfortunate incident that happened when the ex-Prime Minister was presented, was sworn in, that might have been averted, okay? Even though he had it coming with all the things that were done before. But all in all, I think the session was a good one. One thing I liked for sure was the fact that the ex-Prime Minister was not allowed to get away with filibustering and grandstanding and campaign speeches in an attempt to revise the history. He did that with the COVID. He was quite capably pulled up by, I think it was Senator Joel Clark and the Honorable Congress Maynard, to remind him of exactly what took place then. Okay, and I'm glad for that, because one of the things I did not like about the previous Parliament was that a lot of the things that were said went unanswered. Okay, there was no opportunity for rebuttal, and they had a speaker who essentially facilitated that on the government side. Okay, maybe the speaker, from all appearances, would be more even-handed. So all in all, it was a good session, and we can look forward, I think, to the fulfillment of an ambitious agenda, I think, I would say, in the next coming months and years. So that was my outlook on what happened in that session.
All right.
All right, then.
All right, Carter, thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 12:38. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. You're listening to Inside the News for Saturday, October 29, 2022. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We just had the headline news, and we're continuing from where we left off from with regards to the first session and the opening session of the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis. That was on Tuesday, October 25th, and Thursday, October 27th. Different views, different feedback, different people on the opening of the House. Previous caller, let me hold that thought, and I'll take this caller. The caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon again, Devon. Let me close the bedroom door. I went to get a shower while we were talking. I went to cool down.
Okay.
I missed Mr. McMahon's presentation. What really did he say?
Well, he spoke about some of the deadlines that the AG mentioned in terms of the good governance agenda, freedom of information, all of those other things. There was a end of year deadline.
It is a matter, yes.
Yeah, end of year deadline for some of the things.
You need to bring it forward. I'm sure he would agree with me with that. I'm sure he would agree with me that item has to be brought forward on the agenda.
How soon would you say?
Next House. If you can't finish the integrity, bring the freedom of information, Remember, the laws have been passed already, you know. They don't have to pass what passed already. They already have things set up. It's to activate it, and that is my problem.
So you're saying that everything is in place, it's just to activate it?
Yeah, well, you don't know that.
Okay.
You got to do a little investigation about that.
Okay.
Activate it. Because the longer you stay, is the deeper the corruption. I mean, we can't pretend. If you get an opportunity to hide, you won't hide. Talk the truth. Confession good for the soul.
Well, I mean, that's
let me use
what
the
should say
word evade better, right?
human nature.
Let's look at your tax evasion.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be full. Now, I did not comment on the first opening because everything was going good until some people forgot it was actually Parliament and not a political meeting. I think the exuberance was too much. Imagine we made regional news that there was such an uproar in the Parliament by some elements. Anyway, I'm glad that the Prime Minister did warn them, and others warned them that that was Parliament, even though it was in Marriott. Now, an issue that when Dr. Douglas was talking about the composition of Skipper's Board, I had an issue.
What is that?
Now, he spoke about certain members, the chamber, the union, different government agencies. But then at the end he said, a foreign investor. Did you hear that?
No, I did not.
You got to check it out. I said to myself, that could lead to conflict of interest.
How so?
Remember, other people coming in as foreign investors. And a foreign investor who is here going to sit on that board to decide, give his opinion as to if they should be considered.
Ah, okay.
You understand that?
Yes.
There have been incidents in this country here. I'm talking from knowledge. I think even Marriott came in. And other companies come in and said they were going to pay the people in US dollars. Organizations say no. You cannot do that because there will be a movement of the people from our establishments into that.
Right. Fair enough.
Even on the industrial sites, that's why the wages them so low. Because those already established do not agree to the others who come in paying higher wages. So if you plan to put an investor, who the one who is applying is a competitor, does that sound fair to you?
I could foresee the conflict of interest there, because it would be hard for you to remove your personal bias, because basically you would be, if it is that's the case, basically you would be denying and say, well, this person is going to come up against my business, and so I'm going to deny them the opportunity.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I could understand that.
So I don't think no foreign investor, because there should be on Skipper board. Skipper is there to assess what is being brought to the table, what they want to give, and some of the other things, some of them not even necessary. And the truth is, the present Minister of Investment should not have been the investor. He should not have been the minister of that ministry. I'll tell you why. In 1995, there was a Southeast Peninsula Board. Have you ever heard about it?
No, I have not.
All right. It was established after they put on the road. The road was put on in, I think, 1989. I think with U.S. aid, and they insisted that there be a Southeast Peninsula Board who would look, something like the Skipper Board, who would also be there to ensure that the environment was not destroyed. You know, when they come in, they want to blood on this, move that. And the first action of the then Prime Minister, Dr. Denzel Douglas, was to discard the board. The members for the board were sent to the planning unit. And he made himself the only minister who could approve of any scheme or investment on Frigate Bay and on the Peninsula Board, so that the Frigate Bay Development Corporation lost its power of authority. But that's what we're heading for again. So when you have this thing about the company moved to Anguilla, that company wanted to remove some of the trees from the hill, and the board objected. And of course, Mr. Mann had made himself the minister, overruled by the time the company gone. So I don't think he's a fit person to do it, because what has happened? They come in and he give them all sorts of incentives. Hold the government tax, don't pay no tax, all kind of incentives that are excessive. And another story again, which one person mentioned. As the chairman of the board, he's known not to call meetings, you know. The Public Accounts Committee, I think you know, he was the chairman of the last one. Are you aware of that?
Mm-hmm. I am, yes.
He never wanted them to call a meeting. Before him, in his 20 years, they had one meeting in which they called the members and nothing was done. 20 years, no Public Accounts Committee meeting. 7 years, none. So you can imagine we're back to where we were. In that he would be the magistrate, the lawyer, the judge, and the jury. That board, I think, is too heavy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, caller, thank you for your contribution, all right? We'll take some more calls. It is 12:47, and you're listening to Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be taking some more calls. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
People make the world go
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on Win FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation for today. It is 12:51 and we wrap up at 1:30 right here on Inside the News. The phone lines are open, and so we are taking your calls. We want to hear from you, your contribution to this discussion. Started earlier. That is in the first hour, with relation to the Parliament, and in terms of the presentations that were made, the bills that were presented, and generally, how do you feel about the first sitting of the Parliament since the change of government? As I said, I do believe that our people are looking for something new, something fresh, a new style of politics, something that, is not going to just make you feel, that, you're no longer interested. You've lost all interest. You don't want to be affiliated, closely affiliated, or anything with it with how our parliamentarians function. But in a nutshell, for me, in terms of the first sitting of Parliament on Thursday, and then the opening session, I was following that on the YouTube and the social media, and I realized that there was what should I call it? A situation, an incident. Let me say a situation where the former Prime Minister was. The crowd did not treat him so nice. Let's say that. The crowd did not treat him so nice. With, of course, people perhaps forgetting that it was Parliament, not because it was at the Marriott, it was at Parliament. Maybe it could also be a situation where some people did not know, because I would want to assume that there are people who were in that crowd. If they had been inside of the Parliament and government headquarters, then perhaps that would not have been the situation here today. Or what took place on Tuesday, that is. But because, people were at Marriott, everybody thought it was just, a regular event, a political event, or a party event, and so you just come and you do and say what you like. But that is not the case. So I saw the video, and it has since been making the rounds on social media and on other different news platforms so far. As you would say, it has gone quite viral. It has gone quite viral. Honestly, respectfully, that should not have been the time or place for something like that. I mean, you can't tell people what to do, but not in the House of Assembly. Not in the House of Assembly. These things are left for the rallies and the meetings and the public. That is why you call them public rallies or whatever. This is what those things should be left for. Not that a parliamentarian is called upon to speak, or whatever the situation may be, and people are there, booing and doing all sorts of things. That is, in my take, unacceptable. And our people ought to conduct themselves better. It is unacceptable. And we, as I said, need to conduct ourselves better. It is 12:55 and the phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Call us and be a part of the conversation. That is 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. We are also live on social media, so you can check out our Facebook page or YouTube channel at Win Media SKN. And of course, for the latest in regional in local, regional, and international news and sports. I wanted to get your thoughts, or rather, let me just say, share this one with the general public with regards to a male patient who committed suicide at the Joseph in France General Hospital here in St. Kitts. And so it's really an unfortunate situation. Really an unfortunate situation. I mean, one that perhaps, I would say could have been prevented. Of course, I'm speaking in not knowing the specific details of what actually took place. The police did release, the Ministry of Health released a statement to explain to the public and to explain to, family members that this is what took place. But really unfortunate. We have some callers on the line, so let's head back to the phone lines. The caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
And good afternoon to the listeners home and abroad. Carl Brown here. Two things I would like to touch on. And I know supporters of the Labour Party going to call in and say, if only now. Well, here what is happening. We as voters been having a serious problem, and it don't go to voters alone. For every people that dwell in St. Kitts Nevis, right? Here's the problem we're having, and we need to remedy this problem. And now, I keep calling for constituency councils, right? And none of the parties that win election or form the government here want to take up that mantle. Because when these candidates win the seat, after that, you hardly can get their attention. They want to come once every 6 months or longer to have a, what we call maybe one-on-one or a little town hall meeting. That cannot solve the problems of the people in the constituency and the problems of the constituents. Now here the brilliant idea. If you have constituency councils, and these should be made up of people who are, whether elected, you could have an election in the constituency to choose your constituency councils, or you could have the constituents nominate people who they feel is capable and able of being a constituency rep outside of the minister, or constituency council member. And this should be paid by the state. Well, the payment, that will be determined when you get to that time. Right? But if you have that,
yes,
the ministers them would have less bother. The phone won't be ringing 3 o'clock and all kind of hours day and night. Because you know why? The constituents them will know we're going to have a constituency meeting such and such a time to meet with the constituency councils. At times you can invite the minister or ministers to come and hear from the constituents. If you have that, ministers will get rest. They won't have to be running away from the constituents. And the constituency councils will hear from the constituents, take it to the minister at times, invite them at times to hear, and we will have a lot of problem in the constituency, so
But I like that. I like that suggestion. I like that suggestion that you put forward. Constituency or community councils, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
I think it would reduce the dependency or the strain on the government ministries or departments, the minister himself. But I like that. It for me, it speaks inclusivity and it speaks bringing people together. I like that.
Yes. And here the thing, sir, is that the minister now and the PS will get proper rest. They can have a practical life, a normal life, because they have constituency reps who are representing you. And they won't have to don't answer the phone, whether text, messages, whatever the constituents them is calling them about. And the constituents them won't have to be always by the minister home or by the offices. Because you have some place to go and put your issues, your problems, your query and concern, your ideas and suggestions to. Because from the time they get in, they answer the phone, they don't want to pay no attention to you, and they're always busy, they're always traveling, they always have something to do. Except he come and hear the concern of the constituents. So I am calling, I hope that this government will take up the offer and the mantle this time around, because it's been under 3-4 governments now I have been pushing this idea. And the ministers then need to delegate their work besides the PS. So that is something very good that they should take up. And we won't have to bother the ministers then.
All right. Well, caller, thank you.
The last thing is what's happening at the Marriott on Tuesday. We hear a lot of people that bow the Honorable Timothy on Tuesday. Is people you have heard calling on shows saying that we need proper behavior in Parliament. You remember those calls, right? Well, here is it. We've been calling for those in Parliament to behave properly. Well, what about we who went to the Marriott? We didn't know we have to behave properly too.
What I said is that perhaps you had people who, even though they know that yes, we're coming here for Parliament to elect a speaker and all of that, I think it was the venue that gave them some sort of indication or suggestion that it was not a full fledged Parliament sitting.
They would have done it downtown. They left home set. That was planned, pre-planned. They would have done it downtown. Right? Now, you have a lot of chance. We see the Honorable Timothy Harris all the time on the street, the supermarket, all over the place. We could tell him what we want, we could boo him, or whatever. You wait till when you go in Parliament, the first opening, the recognition of a new government, a new sensation. And this is how you welcome the new government and welcome the world to the new government. And we don't be calling in and saying, oh, they must behave properly, the world watching, and they look good in their going and jumping up and arguing, but we gone and we do worse.
All right, we'll call
the
her.
same caller. The same people asking for respect of the candidates in Parliament, but we gone there and do worse in the Parliament. It's not a football game we were watching and a bad playmaker. The person score or something like that. This is national, worldwide Parliament, a brand new government.
Well, caller,
and
thank
the
you
best
for.
thing you could do, cheer for all the other candidates, them.
Yes. Well,
But the former prime minister, we'll go there. What's that for?
yeah, well, caller, we have to take some more calls. All right. Yeah, thank you for your contribution. Yes, that has made the rounds on social media. What took place on Tuesday, quite unfortunate. Doesn't matter who you support. Doesn't matter which party you are coming from. It has happened. It has happened. There's nothing we can do to change it, but it has happened. Let's move. Let's go back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon. The behavior on Tuesday is nothing surprising, you know. Is as long as the Labour Party is in government, the bar has set so low. They set the bar low, and you could disagree with me, but it's a fact. The behavior of the Labour Party are always something like that. They're very aggressive towards people. And the bar, the standard set, always set low when Labour is in power. And I realize from since the government changed, most people feel like they are not supposed to work. Productivity has gone way down. And I do believe that's the reason why they had the unfortunate situation at the circuit ward. Because I do believe that who was supposed to be looking at that guy probably tell themselves that they ain't got to do the work. Because that's a situation I realize happening now since the government has changed. The productivity. Look at the step workers them. They used to go to 2 o'clock now, 8 and 9 o'clock they done. They're packing up right now, it's happening. Productivity going straight through the door under this administration. People feel they're not supposed to work. Thank you.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 8 minutes past the hour of 1 here in the studios of 1FM 98.9, and we are taking your calls right here on Inside the News. The numbers to call are 466-0989, 762-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this caller.
Hello?
Caller, please turn off your radio.
Yes, young man. I wanna support Carl Brown because I think it's very, very embarrassing to kick his sons all over abroad. Because one my good school friend in Oklahoma called me.
Hello, caller. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. You can call us back before we wrap up at 1:30. Okay, let's take this other caller. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devon. How are you? Happy Saturday to you. Last Saturday in the month.
Thank you.
Yeah, October going ain't gone yet. Monday gone. Yes, with that, I don't know really what to cause it, but I think you should have more principle and dignity, you know, and respect. What happened now? These things no long time used to keep December, but just for think it's alone. And then you might have seen it in a newspaper in other country, but now it, you know, technology have it wide world. So I only hope Dr. Joe could get a group of them who was in the gallery and, you know, went on the way and, you know, tell them enough respect. Well, not went on Thursday, but I hope it'll never happen again. Yeah, and with this working, they need to, you know, next year, man, they're going to fix them, you know, because you're not supposed to go out 7 by 8:30 your back, you know, and the lineman thing, and there's work to do. There's work to be done. And I know when I was young and I go to work, I know how to tell my mistress ain't got to tell me every morning, look in the corner, there you see the broom. I know the broom is there. You know, if anything in the dishes, like this is weekend, Monday morning, you go, you make a set of dishes extra. And you clean them up, you know, just, I don't know about them, they no. You do it and you do it with pride. And them days, ever, you get a little $15 or $20. No, these I get $1,000. I don't know what to do them. I don't know really what happened to them. They smoke must get into their head or whatever. There's no Father Christmas out there. They need to go and do the work. Because when you walk, you see going across right here by this bypass road. Especially on the law, where the law drain is. You never want to clean out. You know, find something to do. Go and get your horn and your shovel and you clean. Your papa ain't look too bad. The deeper drain ain't look too bad. to the north side, but to the west side. I mean, to the south side and so. They look really bad and so. So they need to do the work, honest days, work for honest days, and stop the trouble. They need to work. I just hear some place to hire them. When they come, they just sign, then they look. 12 come, and I'll see them again till maybe 2:30 if they say they're going on lunch.
All right. Well, caller, thank you. Yeah, well, thank you for your contribution to this program. We have to take some more calls. The phone lines are open. Call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. This is Inside News for Saturday, October 29th, 2022. I am Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. Very strong and interesting arguments and opinions given by the supporters, candidates. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Listening program after 12 o'clock, and just recently we're thinking about community council or parish council.
Yes.
Because I had some concern here at the local community here where I live in Hertfordshire, and I raise it publicly. The playing field is badly in need of cutting so that the sports young boys and girls can play, as well as the adults who take a walk and do the exercise in regards to their health. They can use the field. And I don't think it's a bad idea, especially now that our community, our constituency is so divided. From the last election, you had a third party, and this community council, a parish council, it should not be just one party. The composition should be persons who have local community, the parish or constituency at heart, the interests at heart, the community at heart. So you choose one from PLP, you choose one from the People Action Movement, and you choose one from the Labour Party. Or if you want to mix it, but their interests must be genuine so that the constituents or the parishioners could benefit from whatever they see needed to be done at the local level. At never a time we need it is now. The political thing is divided. I have raised a concern with the legislative department concerning a tree that electrical wire runs through that really pose a threat to life and property. Up to now I can't get the response from them to come and cut the tree. This is where the community council or the parish constituency council should really, if you had one, active one, take up this and have it done immediately. So had never time. We need vision. We need visionary. We need a constituency council, a parish council, a community council, whatever you want to describe it. But the composition should be not political. Persons who have genuine, sincere interest of the people, the parishioners, the constituents at heart. This is what we need. Because the minister or the ministers, they have a lot of responsibilities. And so I want to see this field here cut immediately so that the people can have the exercise. Health is at this particular time, health is really important. People need to go walk, or run. Young fellas, they need to play sports so they could keep out of trouble. And this is what we need, genuinely. People who have the interest of the community at heart. Non-political. Thank you very much, Cornelius.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. And I like the suggestions that you put forward, as well as the previous caller, in terms of the community council. As again, for me, it preaches inclusivity, it preaches togetherness, the community working together, regardless of your political affiliation or your background or whatever you believe in. But the main goal and the main purpose should be to develop your community. And as I said, I believe initiatives or groups rather like these would ease the strain of villagers or residents having to always go to the minister or having to go to the ministry to say, well, this needs to be done. A community council is put in place, and if there is a minor project in the community that needs attention, then the council will be responsible for that. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back. So, yeah, that is what the community council would be responsible for. Anything minor that happens in the village, in the community, that would be their task, to raise the funds, to ensure that everything is good. But I really like that suggestion, and I think that is something that should be considered for the near future. Of course, something you have to sit down and go through to ensure that everyone is on the same page. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yeah, Javon.
Yes, talk
Good
to me.
afternoon again. I was saying, right, that where Calvin talk about the 2 points, he's right. Any young politician must set up these things. But if you're not listening street people, you're gonna fall down, You're gonna keep yourself from fall. Now, Devon, where I heard on Tuesday, when my schoolmate called me, who resides in the state, I felt so bad as a citizen. Now put away the politics. This is parliament, It can't matter where you are, Devon. And you got to understand that, because you were making a kind of point where me taking, It can't matter where you are. Because
Yes.
you asked Mr. Groucho with a sitting on the government benches and acknowledge such a thing happening in the parliament. All of them there will go out the gallery. All. You will have the police remove all of them. You can't do that. And then when you look at the president, now your party is in government. Lift up your party, man. Don't lower thinking standard. We're better than that. We can do better than that. But when you're vagabonds and your customer, your vagabond behavior, you can't all over. You know, when the old man there were talking about, he's so right. And I'm asking these people to come forward like me and call JLL and talk. Have a good day, my brother.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. Just 10 minutes left before we wrap up the discussion for today. It is 1:20. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Call us and be a part of the conversation. It is 1:20, and we end in just about 10 minutes. Let me use this opportunity again to say thank you for your contribution thus far to the program. Very interesting and intriguing opinions and views given by the callers. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take some more calls. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, I want to call back in a second time of mail, The ex-police, they is so right. Because what happened, I went for a walk with you last Friday, and to go across the bypass road, my grass, up here and watch good, they throw you down. They're the supervisor for them people who don't cut them with the workers, because it's Friday now happen. They done ready to be done by the bank. You know. They don't want to work on the development. At 8:30, 9 o'clock, they used to them by the bank. These things need to stop. They need to get strong supervisors. That when they say do this, they do it. And, sorry. And if they ain't do it, they just give them a 2 days, 3 days home. Come and clean up the country. You say you vote for change. You do the change work. And stop. The people got to be coming in and talk. This ain't no child thing. Look, when the mother used to tell her, go sweep up the yard. Otherwise, you ain't get no breakfast. I go sweep up the yard. When you come from lunch, you ain't get no lunch. Then we need to pettiness them. And when you saw them, what do you think they're doing? Puffing and puffing and puffing like they popping tooth. You must stop like we come on and talk about it. Talk is something with our country developing. And I please about it and we're moving on. That's what we want to come on and talk. Say, not this 19, well, nothing still. Then we need to move on. I don't know what happened. They don't wake up, you know. And young people, the next thing I don't like, let me say it fast and go. They take out this stuff out the drain. They put it to the side. Have a tractor there today and come and take them up and throw them in and go. I watched some place the other day, they said they're clean. And when I saw them pool to grass and they do, oh my gosh. What is and take them out? When they're going to go back right in there, it's we're in far now. They're going to drop back in. Move them right away. Do the good work for your good pay. Okay.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution. It's 11:24 here in the studios of 1FM 98.9, and thank you for that. The phone lines are open. We're taking your calls here on today's conversation for Saturday, October 29, 2022. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much. As I said, we wrap up at 1:30 thereabout with today's conversation. So far, the contribution of the views and opinions given by the callers have all been very respectful, and I like the different views. I mean, we can't always agree, and we will not always agree on everything, and that is absolutely fine. But having a discussion and you coming to an agreement to say, okay, I'll put my suggestions to the floor and I'll put yours to the floor. And I say that in relation to the community council. And the reason why I'm mentioning this again is because I really, really like that suggestion put forward by the callers there. Let's head back to the phone and take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, sir. Tom here again.
Mm-hmm.
We have another problem. I think a lot of people would agree with this one. Sales of land from the state to a citizen or resident. Now, you apply for piece of land. You are allocated the piece of land. You pay for the land. You still have to pay to survey the land. After surveying the land, every year after, until you sell that land, you have to pay land tax. Land tax. You decide after several years to sell that land. You still have to go pay the government again when you don't sell the land. Good God, whether you didn't own the land, is rent you in a pay. I mean, come on. You survey the land, you pay land tax all your life, you get rid of it. You still have to go pay the government to get rid of what you buy from them and what you pay tax on. You pay. It cannot be fair. You're jilting the citizens. Yes, taxes is supposed to be paid. But you can't overtax the citizens to death. That is what is happening. When I don't own the land, I don't pay for the land, I don't survey, I pay land tax. I still have to go back, pay the government to sell me land. I mean, the revenue I don't, right? You have to go pay to get rid of the land, that shouldn't be. That's overtax. And I think we need to look into this here. If I am selling my property, yes, I pay buyer to change the thing, but I should to go some property.
Caller?
Yes.
Yeah, you cut off there for a second.
Yeah, this is what I say. If I got the land, doing all that I'm supposed to do, why now I'm selling the property that I have to go pay the government to sell the property?
Yeah, you're making a fair point there, and so you're making a fair point there. And as you spoke about taxes, yes, we know taxes are really important, and taxes are what drive the country and make the money for the government. But at the same time, you can't be having all these high taxes, especially, with the poor ordinary man.
The citizens.
Right.
That is overtax the other piece of property. You pay to get it. You pay to survey it. You pay taxes on it every year. Why I must go pay again to get rid of it? Yeah, you got to pay a lawyer to change the title and so, but I shouldn't have to go pay the government. Whether I think they say it must be 10% of what you sell the property for. You got to pay back to the government. That's madness. I'm gone.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution. It is 11:29 here in the studios of 1FM 98.9. So let me use this opportunity to thank you for your contribution and continue to enjoy your Saturday. And until next time, you guys stay safe. Enjoy your weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and we're back out to work on Monday. This has been another edition of Inside the News here on 1FM 98.9 for Saturday, October 29, 2022. And I've been your host for today, Devon Cornelius. You guys take care.